me go to my model view. So in here, I can see the one of the relationship has already been built over here. Yeah. So my product ID from products table and orders table also has got my product ID. Since your column names are same and your format is also the same, it's pretty much able to connect it or able to build the connection. Or in other words, I can say that it has built in a relationship. And how is the relationship? One to many. As in for one product ID in my products table, I find more than one rows, that is multiple rows in my orders table for the same product ID. And many is being represented by that star and one to many. And if you can see here, the arrow pretty much tells me, we'll come to this, but just I'm saying here, this arrow shows in nothing but the data flow. Data is flowing from my dimension to my facts table. Okay, this is all okay. It has built in. I found it okay. Now, whenever you see that you come to the data modeling after loading the data, relationship has already been built, all good. But we need to really come off like we need to verify whether this is right or wrong. As in to say, just double click on it, a dialog box is opening up, right? So I can very well see the product ID from my orders and product ID from products are being connected. And it just says many to one. See this one to many, if you consider many to one is just the reverse of it. See, 1 second. Either I say that dimension to your fact is one to many, or I just reverse the plate and tell it like many to one. Okay, both of them are pretty much the same, just the way you look at it from when you look at it from dimension to your fact table, it's one to many. But when you look at the reverse way, like from your orders to products, or let me be more specific, from your facts or your transactional table to your dimension, I do see many to one. Okay, just the two sides of a plate, or maybe two sides of a coin, that's the your one to many and many to one. Okay, and I can say yes, and how they are being, it's called a cardinality. Okay, many to one or one to many. Now there are two more cardinalities also pretty much available over here, which is one to one and many to many. If I open this, you should be able to see it one to one, and even that many to many is also there. Now, one to one is in general like both the, like you have a connection link and both sides of the connection link, the two tables. In either of the tables for each of like a, you for say suppose for example your both your products and orders. Forget for some time that your orders is a facts table. By say by default some your orders is also your dimension table. Both the sides for one value of say product ID, I find just exactly one row in my orders table. If that has been the case, they will be pretty much linked as one to one. What example I give, it's not the ideal one. I will show you how that one to one really is coming into picture. But as of now, just concentrate on your many to one or one to many. Now, what is the fourth one which you're seeing over here as many to many? Like either sides of my relationship or my connection link, I do see that both the sides, say for from first table, you see for one identifier, for one particular value of the identifier, I am seeing there are multiple rows in the second table. Likewise, from second table also for one value of that identifier, I find multiple rows in my first table. Okay, both the sides, the rows are really multiple, not like your one to many or many to one. Like for one side from over here, you have for one product ID on the orders table, you see multiple rows. Not like that. Here also there are multiple rows for a single identifier value. And on the right hand side of my relationship link also, I find multiple rows. If that's the case, your many to many cardinality is pretty much existing, but it's a bit of ambiguity your many to many brings into picture. Okay, and if at all you are really going for many to many, you should be very much sure of how it behaves. Okay, the ambiguity, you also should be accepting it. You should be very much sure of what, how it's going to behave, how my visual is going to really give the results to me. So unless and until one is not sure, we shouldn't go for your many to many. Many a times it's been avoided. Okay, I'll not come to many as of now. Towards the end of our course, I'll definitely explain how to, what is this many to many, what are the alternative ways to handle this many to many, and all. I'll talk about it. But as of now, our concentration will be, or our focus will be on this either many to one or one to many. This one to one, I'll come when I will talk about snowflake schema. There are two types of schema in your data modeling. One is your star and there's your snowflake. Okay, now says next one over here. It says that your cross filter direction is single. It can be both also. Now, what does this mean? You are seeing this small arrow, right? Arrow is what means like how the data is really flowing. Say, suppose your data as of now, just understand, we'll explain, we'll get to see this more in our, when we come to visuals, how, what's the default nature of my Power BI reports, how the interactivity by basic, how it's been there and all. At that time we'll get to know more about this. But as in, if I the when the data, it says that the data is flowing from my dimension to my fact table. So it, in short form, if I want to explain you, if I filter out one product ID, I will be able to, like, my data will be flowing from my dimension to here. I will be able to see pretty much the filtering, like for one product ID, I'll be able to see all the multiple rows that are corresponding to that your single product ID. Don't think that if I come to the table view, I am going to maybe filter out my one particular product, means say any particular product for that matter. I am going to see over here, it's pretty much filtered out. No, don't think like that. But the way how I can build in my visuals, it really depends on how the data has been flowing. How I can, like for example, I can bring in the product ID from this orders table also. I can bring in the product ID from products table also. But in general, whenever I'm building a particular report, a visual or chart for that matter, I will look on to the product ID from my products table only. Reason being, it has got the master list. Okay, master list as in all the your whole of the column is completely unique, no repetition. It's a master list. Here, maybe there are some repetitions. Maybe any of the products are not even ordered by any of the customers. It could that also be the case. Maybe just think of an example like a product has just been introduced to the market by the company. So products, as in the products table, a new line will be very much introduced with the new product ID, name, and what are the rest of the details of it. A new record is going to be added to the products table. But then here I might not see it. Slowly and steadily, maybe in a duration of maybe in 1 month or 2 months, people, when they get to know about the new product, when they see the marketing, or maybe via your anyways, marketing where nowadays you can get through any of the channels, right? Maybe YouTube or even TV advertisements, whatever. Whenever they get to see that, they start buying only at the time the order table is going to get that. So ideally, my products table or my dimension table is my master list. Here may or may not be, at times why we might miss out on one or two. It could be very much possible. So the way the data flows is a single, like a cross filter direction is just single from your dimension to uh, your facts table or your transactional table. Okay, that's your basic one. Now coming over, array. Okay. So pretty much being the same column name and same data type, it has just found out that yes, there is I can build in a relationship between these two tables and how they are related as one to many. That cardinality is very much relevant. I mean, it's there and I find it all okay. So I'm not going to touch it. Now, what about this? Here also, if you see customer ID, and here also the customer ID is there, but it has not built in the relationship, or like the moment we saw the model view for the first time in my PBX file, I couldn't see the relationship. There are two reasons for it. As in to say, your customer ID column name is not the same. Yes, here it's customer ID is just here cust ID. Okay. It's not there, the relationship is not there. Let me go and build it. You can build it two ways. There are two ways of doing it. Either you just drag it with help of your mouse, drag it and drop it over the customer ID. Don't go and drop it over the customer. The place where you drop it now, that should be you should be very much sure where you're really dropping it. In case if you have dropped it at the wrong field also or wrong column, you can come over here and you can alter it, because you are supposed to select the columns from both the tables. Only then the save option really becomes active. Okay, otherwise the save option doesn't come off. This is one way you drag and drop. Or else you have an option over here which says manage relationships. If I select that also, manage relationship is like you can edit the existing one. And what are the existing ones? First of all, I'm going to see it. The one which is existing over here, it's been shown. If I want to edit, modify or alter it, I can do it over here. Okay, maybe some I don't find whatever is there, it's not correct. So if I feel it, I can go ahead and correct it. And if I feel something is wrong over here, I need to delete it also. This option is also will be there. The moment I select this of checkbox, now it will give me these options. Okay, now if I want to go it for a new one, the tab is very much there. I click on it, I get it over here. So I'll go for my customers, and here the second one, which is your orders, and it has detected all good. No, not customer, cust ID. Okay, not customer. So we have to be sure of that. But then here it says me there's an issue, like as in not an issue, but a kind of warning it is giving me. It's telling me many to many. This relationship has cardinality many to many. This should only be used if it is expected that neither column, that is your cust ID and your customer ID, contains unique values, and that the significantly different behavior of many to many relationship is understood. Sometime back I told you there's an ambiguity very much associated with my many to many cardinality. So we should be very much sure, we should have a clear concept or clear understanding of that ambiguity. Then only we should be going ahead with this many to many. Moreover, why this many to many has come into place for our thing is, okay, maybe my names, the column names are different, not an issue. But here, customer ID is not unique. How am I saying this is, if you go to the customer table, let me just sort it. You can see two 35s, right? One for Mike, another for Mahesh. So if you are having this identifier, the identifier column or the primary, which I am assuming as primary key, if it is not a primary key, I don't find that when we go to the column profiling in Power Query Editor, we don't find the distinct and a unique count as the same. It doesn't qualify as a primary key column, right? So if that's not the case, this won't be even classifying as a dimension. If it has to be a dimension, you should definitely have one primary key. Here it is not. Now, one way is I can alter it. Okay, I go to my Power Query editor and change it. But if I change 35, means what happens is it will replace both these 35 values. Okay, maybe I write some custom functions wherein to say if my customer name is Mahesh, going for updating the customer ID to 36. Maybe just for example, since it's a practice exercise, I'm just replacing it with 36. Okay, so that is one way, or else I'll suggest you much more better way, which is I come to this particular one, the input data. Here, I just make the modification from 35 to 36. I save this data. Let me come over here. In home tab itself, we have got this refresh. I am seeing 36 over here for Mahesh. So that, like as in to say, the 35, which was earlier appearing twice, it's not now. Now we will see all of the 11, 10 rows are pretty much unique. None of the customer ID is really repeating. So if I now go back to my model view and now just drag and drop it, or maybe I come over here, it shouldn't show me that many to many or what that particular one should it won't show me now.